Hey strong people, Kalle Beck here from StartingStrongman.com. World's Strongest Man Day 1 just wrapped up from Sacramento, California. I can't wait to go next year, even if it's 108 degrees. It's so exciting. I'm getting serious FOMO from not being there, especially when it's within driving distance, but at least it's nice and cool where I am, and it's not in Sacramento. Anyways, crazy first day. This has been wild. Tom Stoleman's exceeding all expectations I had on him. I had him doing well. Did not think he'd be doing this well. The Giants Medley was the first event. This was a yoke walk into a frame. It was a 440 kilogram yoke, which is 970 pounds, 10 meters, 350 kilogram frame, which is 770 pounds. For 15 meters, which is interesting because the medley in the qualifiers is by far harder than the one in the finals. They used the cool whiskey barrel farmers, and they had whiskey barrels on the yoke and the frame, like we saw them working with in the familiarization. And the times were very close. I think so. If you look at it like first, Tom Stoleman got first with 18.36. Whoa! I saw some of these times come in as they were coming in, and Adam Bishop got 22.39, and I picked him to win this event, and that seemed like a winning time, and he ended up getting, 6th place, I think. Because after Adam, there's JF Caron, 21.31, who tore his hamstring on it, and from what we hear was on the pace to beat Brian Shaw, who got third with 20.53, but had to drop it for a second. And I think Brian Shaw, they said in the backstage video that Martins and Nick English are doing, he said that the yoke or the frame hit when Brian was carrying it. So these weren't even clean runs and they were that fast. Would like to see more separation from second to 6th than 20.31 to 22.39. Could have been a little heavier, but I don't think you necessarily need to make things heavier to get separation. I think what would be nice, if they they loaded those barrels into the yoke or the frame, I think brings a really cool aspect to it. They used to do stuff like this. Oh, but what if one yoke's a little more off balance than the other? That's sportsmanship. Learn how to put things correctly. Then it actually, when strongman's manual labor for sport, basically, it kind of makes it look like you're accomplishing a task. Oh, he put the things in the thing, then he carried them. He didn't just arbitrarily move the thing for some reason or other. He arbitrarily looked like he was doing something for some reason or other. I think that would have been cool and would have made a little bit more separation. Plus, if World's Strongest Man is a TV show first, I think doing something where they put the barrels into the implement, then have to carry it, adds to the general audience. Anyways, let's go results top down. Or let's go start at the bottom up. Thor Melstead, 10 meters, couldn't complete the frame. Grip, not his greatest attribute, I guess. Trey Mitchell, 9th place, 45.61. Maxine Boudreau, 31.43. He's pretty fast with frame and stuff, not with yoke, probably what cost him there. Bobby Thompson, 25.06. We thought that was going to be a good time. Ends up being 7th? Crazy. Adam Bishop, 22.39. Imagine doing that event in 22.39 seconds and all you get is 5 points for it. That's just cruel. JF Caron, 21.31. Luke Stoltman, 20.72. Brian Shaw, 20.53, just ahead of Luke. Konstantin Janashia, 20.31. Konstantin Janashia is back. Great to see. He's such a wild card going into this event. It was hard to pick. Some people said I had him lower than he should, but he's been injured for so long. You don't know how people are going to be in his. He basically, his group was won by who didn't get hurt, so it's hard to know how hard he was going. His results weren't great. if you compare him to the other groups, but maybe that's just as hard as he had to go. But, he's clearly back on form if he's, doing that time. He's always been fast at those kind of events. So this is the Constantine Ginasio we know that got 4th place in, the Philippines? Then Tom Stoleman, 18.36. The improvements that Tom and Luke have made in events that they aren't known for. Like, Tom in a yoke walk, he's never been known for that. I don't know if Tom Stoleman's ever beat Adam Bishop in a yoke or a frame. They're constantly contested at Giants Live shows. We haven't had a Giants Live in a while, but he's definitely attacked his weak points, and that's a dangerous thought. Both of the Stolemans have been working with a coach, Dan Hipkiss, which I've talked to for years, and very smart guy. He wrote a couple of articles for StartingStrongman.com back in the day. And I think it's great that athletes like them are working with someone who you've seen them on the Stoleman, you've seen Dan on the Stoleman brothers YouTube. Not exactly what you think of when you think of a strongman coach, but he's smart and he knows it. You don't have to be the best athlete to know how to coach and improve people. And obviously they've worked, but they sought out coaching and they've made drastic improvements in some weak events for them. Probably some of that has to fall on Dan as well. Huge performance. Titans turntable. I thought Trey Mitchell would take this event, and Ithor, just based on their times. I thought Brian Shaw would struggle here. Didn't think it was going to be a strong event for Tom. I saw Luke doing well. How it went, we'll go top down this time just for fun. Tom Stoleman does it in 46.89. 10 points. 2 event wins in a row for Tom. Are you kidding me? Then Trey, who I said so, did 52.34. Then there was a bunch in the 52 to 56 range. But Tom's beat it by a full 6 seconds. That's obliterating everyone. I'm sorry. And Tom, again, is not known for vehicle pushes or pulls. He didn't do all that great in the train push. Maybe he sandbagged it a little bit. Clearly, but he's brought it, and he looked confident, and it's just awesome to see. 20 full points after that. But even more important is the people that got it kind of flipped, other than Tom, who got 10 each time. Everyone who did well in the frame carry, or did poorly in the frame carry pretty much, then did well in the Titans turntable and vice versa, which made it interesting. So Trey Mitchell got second, 52.34. Ithor, 52.83 in third. And those people got 9th and 10th in the first event. And then Maxine Boudreau, who got 7th, which is, third to last in the first event, got 4th, getting 7 points. They flip-flopped where they got points. They got 3 and then 7 to equal 10. And then Brian Shaw, did it in 56.73. Luke Stoleman did it in 55.94. Then Brian in 56.73. So then Luke gets Brian back. Brian got him slightly in the Giants medley. Then Luke gets Brian in the Titans turntable right there, neck and neck. Then Adam Bishop, with 57.78. JF Caron, 57.84. Constantine Ginasio, who got second, then get 9th. Literally everyone flip-flopped their points. Bobby Thompson, 62.31 for last. So what this did was, after 2 events, Tom Stoleman had 20 points. That's the max points you can have. Brian Shaw, had 13. Then, he had 13. Then, let me get this back. And then Luke had 13. So Tom had 7-point lead after 2 events. That's huge. It's the most in World's Strongest Man history after 2 events. And that's because there's so much inconsistencies in everyone but him. And then Luke just kind of got 4th, 5th in each one. He got 7 and 6 or something like that to get 13 overall. Was tied with Brian after day 1 or second event. So craziness. Then on to the keg toss. I think it was a 15 kilogram keg, max height. It started at, I think, 6 meters. The only person to go out at 6 meters was Trey Mitchell. So again, Trey's all over the place this contest so far. 2 points, then 9, then 1. Then Bobby Thompson. Then a bunch, like pretty much everyone else tied at 6.75. They're doing such big jumps. 0.75 meters each time is a very big jump. So, then 6.75 we have, how many competitors got 4 points? Which this is crazy. When everyone ties like this, whoever places above them, they get out of that log jam and they pick up huge points. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half the competitors, tie at 6.75. So what that does is they all get 4 points. They all split it. And then whoever's above them, they gained 3 points on everyone else in the field. So it makes a whole bunch of people not separate. Then it lets everyone else who did better separate. And, they jumped from 6.75 to 7.26, which I'm pretty sure was above the, current record. So that's a huge jump, but that's pretty normal for Worlds. They always do these big jumps. And it makes a log jam, and then whoever gets above it reaps the rewards. It would probably be more spread out if they did smaller jumps. But I'd expect similar to this tomorrow, first event in the max log. They're going to have a weight everyone can hit, then a weight almost everyone can hit. Then they're going to jump here's the new British record or something, and almost no one will get it except for 3, and then one person will do better. And they'll have another 3 or 4 people tie with 190 kilos, then 2 people will get 200, then 1 or 2 guys will get more. That's how I see the log going. It's just unfortunate that goes like that. So tying at 6.75 was Luke Stoltman, Adam Bishop, JF Caron, and Ithor Melstead, and Bobby Thompson. People are saying Ithor looked really good throwing, and he probably might have beat everyone else in this. I don't know, but the jump to 7.26 is a lot. Konstantin Janashia, another one of those people he's one of the people that made that jump. He ends up with 7.26. Then it was raised to 7.5, and Maxine Boudreau, Tom Stoleman, and Brian Shaw all successful at that. Goes from 7.5 to 7.75. And see, here, after the world record, they did a small jump. They're only going by 0.25 meters instead of 0.75. That's a big difference. And if they would have then jumped to 8, they probably all would have tied, which would have been real crap, but it should have been smaller jumps like this throughout. I know it takes longer, but to have the fairest competition, they should have smaller jumps. Brian Shaw, the only successful person at 7.75, he, obliterates his own world record in the event, which he set years ago against Halflord Bjornsson, I believe, as it wasn't even it was an unofficial event at a Worlds. Around 2014-ish, 15, I don't remember. But over 5 years ago, I think. He wins that, picks up big points, and even more important, Tom and Maxime tie. I picked Maxime getting second in this event and Brian Shaw winning it. I thought Tom was going to be up there too. But, it holds true. I've seen a lot of footage of Maxime. He holds the Canadian record, and he just bumped that up higher, and I guess Tom Stoleman has the Great Britain / Scottish record now, and Konstantin Janashia probably has the Georgian record. But yeah, by Maxime tying with Tom, it let Brian gain 1.5 points back, which is big. So after day 1, we got this day 1 out of 2. We got 3 more events tomorrow. Tomorrow looks like hell on the posterior chain. Don't know why those weren't mixed up a little bit more, but I'll get to that after I read off the points. We have Tom Stoleman, 28.5. Brian Shaw in second with 23, and they're really getting separated here. Then we have Maxime Boudreau, 18.5. Big comeback by Maxime to get into third place. When's the last time a Canadian was ahead of JF Caron in any contest? Probably been a bit. Konstantin Janashia at 18. Luke Stoltman dropped big with, dropping all those points in the keg toss. 17. Adam Bishop, 13. People are a little surprised. They thought Bishop was going to do better in that, but I think it's just the big jumps again. We don't know who out of those 5 people was actually better. JF Caron, 13, Adam Bishop 13, Ithor Melstead 13, Trey Mitchell 12, Bobby Thompson 9. But good events possibly for Bobby. Hopefully he's 100%, because tomorrow we have max log, deadlift for reps, which is 750 pounds, and Atlas stones. So, in the max log, Brian could, in deadlift, he could chip away at Tom. And it could, he could knock this lead down. He's only what, 5.5 points back. He could gain 2 or 3, 2 or 3 more points, maybe 4 points on Tom in these next 2 events, possibly. And it could come down to head-to-head stones. Brian Shaw, who's known as the King of the Stones, against the current King of the Stones, they've had some drama in the past over, Brian Shaw had the Atlas Stone world record. He's claimed that he's done like a 630-pound stone in training. He's lifted, and then Tom did it. He put out that kind of statement when Tom went and broke his record at Rogue, and Brian didn't try to defend it. After the last time Brian did break the stone record, he did he kept chipping away a pound or two. He did like 565 or something at the Arnold. I think it was 2016. I was there. Someone asked him if he could do a 600-pound stone at that time. After we all went to a premiere for Eddie Hall's documentary back then, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I could." Normal, humble Brian. And I just told Brian, I'm like, man, we've watched a 2-hour-long documentary of Eddie just saying how he's the greatest in the world. Just say you can. He laughed. He's like, I can. Which means to me at that point he hadn't. So I think there's a little bit of beef over who the King of the Stone is between them, based on that, Tom kind of went in and obliterated all of Brian's old records. And I can't see a more exciting finish than Brian getting 5, or Tom Stoleman, who's already came in and become this new King of the Stones and just broken all the records, possibly getting his first title. That sounds amazing. Sounds like the best scenario, story style scenario we could hope for. Max log, I still think Luke takes that. Brian, he might be good for around 200. But I think it's going to be lower just based on they're out in the heat. They're looking up at the sky. It's probably going to be 100 degrees again. Hopefully, no, it's going to be the first event, so it'll probably be in the 80s by the time they do that one. Deadlift's going to be hot. People are going to be cramping. Hopefully there's not too many injuries by that time. And then the stones with the tacky is going to be tough. I see Bobby hasn't done his best so far, but his performances weren't bad. He's just getting right at the bottom. He's right below that clip of getting more points. So I still think he and Luke will be up there. Janashia could, again, we got to see about his tricep. I think Tom's super improved on the log. I don't doubt anything about Tom going into day 2. I think he could win the log, the deadlift, and the Atlas stones after we've seen he's made such improvements in so many things. Who is to doubt him? I shouldn't. Maxime's good at log. He'll lose points in the deadlift. Adam Bishop will make up points in the deadlift. Caron's hamstring, I think, will affect him on the log and the deadlift. Ithor's pretty decent overhead. Trey has a good log and deadlift. He'll make points back up after the keg toss. Yeah, pretty much everything past past 5th is all, any of those could flip-flop. So we will see. I'm still saying that Tom wins it. I picked Luke to win, Tom to get second, and Caron third originally. I think that's what I picked. Kron's obviously hurt, so that didn't work out well for me. But he could still make up points here. I just don't see it happening. But it looks like it's down to Brian Shaw versus Tom Stoleman. And I'm excited to see it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm Kalle Beck. Thanks for watching.